Good morning friends. I am again back with my second video on YouTube, and today I am going to discuss about the third poem of Flamingo class 12th, and the name of the poem is Keeping Quiet. Before I start this poem, I would like to thank you all for giving a big support on YouTube by watching my channel and watching the video. I'm sure this has been quite useful for you all. And trust me, this poem is also going to be a perfect one. Keeping Quiet, a poem composed by Pablo Neruda. A quite relevant poem in today's world. We as humans, we have been mindlessly involved in so many destructive activities which are sure to harm the Mother Earth, which are sure to harm the humans. Just look at the way we have treated nature. We got everything from nature. But in return, what have we given to the nature? Deforestation, cutting of trees, mindless cutting of trees. And what was the outcome? Now see the outcome. The ecological imbalance, global warming, climate change, so many things are coming up right now. Think about this nuclear warfare. Have you ever wondered where are we heading to? All those countries going for accumulation of so many nuclear weapons. We have so many nuclear weapons in the entire world that we can destroy the earth for more than a dozen times. There has to be some end. There has to be a line drawn where we have to stop. We have to stop our activities. We have to rethink, reconsider our steps. And this is the right time. This is what the poet says. Just look at the helplessness of the humans. Just a small virus, corona, has brought the entire world on the knees. Just look how helpless we are. So friends, it's time to stop our destructive activities. It's time to rethink our steps, our strategies, because we are the ones who have the responsibility to save this Mother Earth. We are the ones who have the responsibility to save the entire humanity. And if you don't think, if I don't think, who is there to think about us? And in this context, this poem, Keeping Quiet, brings us a very, very important message. It says that it's time to stop all our physical activities, sit quietly for a moment, and come out with some positive steps that might be helpful to the earth and as well as the humans. So with this introduction, I'm going to start with the poem, and I'll just deal with the poem with the lines of the poem. So let's take you to the pages of the poem, the lines of the poem. So let's see the next slide. In this poem, the poet Pablo Neruda, he wants us to sit quietly, go for meditation, and then introspect. Now this self-introspection, introspection is a term which refers to self-analysis. We start communicating with ourselves. We start talking to ourselves. And then we come out with the positive side of the debate. So let's start with the poem. The first two lines, the poet says that, now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. Just look at the two lines here. The poet says that, let's count up to 12. Now this is a very unusual kind of thing, because we have the counting of, okay, I'll count up to 3, I'll count up to 5, I'll count up to 10. But have you ever heard anyone counting up to 12? But then it had certain meaning. 12, the poet wants to count up to 12 because the 12th hour is supposed to be the 0 hour. After which a new time begins. So the poet wants to give a new start. That's why he wants to count up to 12. Now he says that in the second stanza, for once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Now the poet wants all the activities to stop on the earth. He says that let's not speak in any language. That means it is quite natural that if you want to go for meditation, then you need to keep quiet. You need to remain silent for a moment, then only you can meditate or introspect. So the first condition is, let's not speak in any language, or in other words, let's not speak at all. The poet also wants us to stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. The same thing, he wants to keep us quiet, and at the same time he wants all the physical activities to stop. Let's not move our arms so much. The simple meaning is that let's stop all our physical activities. If you go a step further, then moving arms so much also refers to a kind of physical fight. So you can take it that way, that the poet wants to say that let's stop fighting on different issues. Could be on the issue of language, could be any kind of physical fight which he wants us to stop, because these are the prerequisite conditions for meditation or introspection. The poet says that it would be an exotic moment. Just look at the word exotic. Now this particular word exotic, it means splendid. What do we say? I had been to an exotic location. But here in the poem, this is not something which is splendid. Here it is something which is unusual. So the poet says that it would be an exotic moment, or in other words, you can say that the poet says that it would be an unusual moment. Why it would be unusual? Because there would be no rush of people and there would be no rush of engines. So after the counting of 12 is over, according to the poet, all the activities on the earth will come to an end. So there would be no rush of people, no rush of engine. Obviously, it would be an exotic or unusual moment for us. And what will happen later on? We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Let's talk about this term, strangeness. Now, what would be strange situation? The strange situation is that everything will become quiet all of a sudden. So we would all be together in this strange situation. And how will this strange situation would fall upon us? The second word is suddenly. That means all of a sudden. So the moment the counting of 12 is over, suddenly or all of a sudden, everything around us would become quiet, and that would be an unusual moment for us. So this is the explanation of this third stanza. But before I move to the fourth one, I'll just talk about some figure speech in this stanza. So let's start with this, the term without. Now if in a particular line a word is repeated twice, then it is known as repetition. So this is the case of repetition. I already told you in the poem My Mother at 66, when the word smile was repeated thrice. Here the word without is repeated twice. So this is the case of repetition. And there is one more figure speech in this poem, and that is sudden strangeness. Now this is called alliteration. The another figure of speech is alliteration. Alliteration is a figure of speech in which two words repeat the same initial sound. So here sudden starts with S sound, Strangeness also starts with S sound. So sudden strangeness is a case of alliteration. We have few more cases of alliteration in the next few stanzas. Then I'll talk about them in the next stanza. The poet wanted all the physical activities to come to an end on the earth. Now he wants, because he wants everyone to go for introspection, whosoever he is. So if the activities on the earth had to stop, why not activities in the sea? So he wants all the activities in the sea to be stopped, and I want everyone who is involved in a marine life, he should come and stand quiet for a moment, and he should also go for introspection. Let's see from the line. He wants fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales. Now he wants fishermen to stop harming whales. Whales, of course, is one of the most endangered species on the earth. He wants them to stop harming them. Now I would just like to refer to you a lesson from class 11th standard, The Alien Planet. In that chapter, the author has raised an issue of overfishing. Fish is one of the resources of the earth. In this highly protein conscious world, overfishing is a main problem. Now this is somewhat closely related to that, and the poet wants the fishermen to stop fishing or to stop their activities for a moment. Apart from that, he also wants the man gathering salt. The salt gatherers, he wants also to stop them from their activities. He's asking them to look at their hurt hands. It's quite natural when a salt gatherer, he gathers salt, then his hands get injured. So he's asking them to stop for a moment, look at your hurt hands, and again come for introspection and think what are the ways through which you can also contribute towards the protection of the planet Earth. Now this is a very important stanza from the poem. In this stanza basically, the poet talks about the theme of the poem, which I have been talking about, different kinds of wars. So let's see, what does the poet have to say? He says that those who prepare green wars. Look at the phrase green wars. Green wars refer to the wars against the greenery of the earth. That is again deforestation. I'll talk about the consequences of this war. Let me complete the second line first. So he says that people have lost a war against the greenery of the earth through their deforestation drive, and wars with gas, wars with fire. Now this war refers to the wars with sophisticated weapons, especially the nuclear weapons. Now the poet has a clear message. He says that people have been involved in war against the greenery of the earth. They kept on cutting the trees mindlessly for setting up their cities and villages and other establishments. Now what is the result? We destroyed the forests like anything. Now the consequences of this, the global warming, the climate change. Now we humans have divided the earth in different countries, but remember, the earth considers itself to be one single unit. So any activity, any destructive activity taking place in any other part of the world may have the effect on the next part of the world. So we can't say that, well, we are conscious enough, we are not doing anything, suppose in India. But if any other country is harming the earth, trust me, the impact will come, the effect will come to our own country also. So we all have known this global warming, the climate change, and then the melting of the glaciers, the rising of the sea levels. These all are threatening indications for us. Secondly, wars with gas, wars with fire. These wars refer to the wars of sophisticated weapons. Now there is a race of accumulating or gathering the nuclear weapons in the entire world. You have 150, we have 160, we have 350, we have 4,000, we have 6,000. Now where will this race end? Have you ever wondered, two nuclear weapon neighboring states, they can never have the fight. Because if you use your nuclear weapon against your neighboring country, trust me, the radiation will come down to your country also. Apart from that, some other country who is not involved in the war between the two countries, that country would also be affected. Do you remember the first atom bomb dropped on Hiroshima in 1945? Have you heard what happened exactly? In 8 square miles area, the temperature was up to 1200 degrees Fahrenheit. The building materials, the human tissues, and they started melting. 150,000 people died instantly. And wait, the journey is not over. Another 3 lakh people died because of radiation. Look at Hiroshima. And the radiation came down to Myanmar, our neighboring country. So where will it take us to? In this nuclear war, who is the ultimate winner? No one. It's all about the number of people you kill. That's it. We killed 50 lakhs people of yours, they killed 60 lakhs people of ours. That's it. There is no winner in the nuclear war. Similarly, there is no winner in the war against the greenery of the earth. Because when the nature reverts back, what do we do? If there is a cyclone, what do we do there? We just wait for the cyclone to stop. All our sciences, they just fail at the moment. We just pray to nature that have some pity on us. All the disaster managements, they don't prevent the disaster, natural disasters. These managements are to reduce the loss of the life and property. Just imagine, when the nature takes revenge, we are helpless. And that is why the poet has said, victory with no survivors. You will have the victory in both the kinds of wars. You will have the instant victory. But wait, even you will not survive. You will have to become the victim of the wars started by yourself. This is the message of the poet. Now he raises a big question here. What is the use of starting a war which is sure to kill you yourself? A clear message. And then he says that he says that, well, you will have victory, but even you will not survive. There will be no survivors. So what he says that he asks everyone to put on clean clothes. Clean clothes here refers to taking your hands off the warlike activity. Doesn't matter which kind of war you are involved in. Because every kind of war is sure to bring destruction in your life. So take your hands off the warlike activities and walk about with their brothers. Means all the other people who are involved in such kinds of wars. So collect all of them, convince all of them, and ask them to take their hands off the warlike activities in the shade, doing nothing. Now, a clear message to all of them that come under the shade means come under a peaceful place, doing nothing but thinking about the ways to stop yourself. This is a high time when you must stop yourself. You must stop all your destructive activities. Because we have damaged the earth so far till now. We have damaged the humanity so far till now that if we don't take the reformatory steps, the end is not too far. Now talking about the different kinds of wars, the poet is afraid that he might be confused with total inactivity. That's why he says that what I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Let's talk about this phrase, total inactivity. Total inactivity means death. Total inactivity means both physical and mental inactivity. The poet says that, well, please don't confuse me with total inactivity. I'm not advocating everyone to go and commit suicide. No, not at all. So I'm not talking about death. What I want is just physical inactivity. And I want everyone to remain alert mentally. Then he says that life is what it is about. He says that life is all about living. Life means to live. To live is life. And secondly, he doesn't want to have any truck with death. Now this phrase, no truck with. The meaning of this phrase, no truck with, is having no connection with. The poet says that, well, I don't want to have any connection with death because I am not talking about death. And in his support, he says one more thing. And what he says, that if we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving. Now this is very important point. The people all around the world, they are single-minded about one thing, and that is living as more as possible. Each and every individual is fighting for his every little single breath. So he says that when people are so desperate about living as long as possible, why should I talk about death? And his point is absolutely clear, that please don't confuse me with total inactivity. Now in these 5 or 6 lines, the poet is talking about a very important issue, and that is sadness. So let's try and understand this word sadness. I'll explain the sadness first, then I'll come to these 2 lines. Now according to the poet, people are sad. They are sad for 2 different reasons. Number 1, the poet says that people don't understand themselves. Now he wants to say that people don't understand what exactly they need. They keep on having endless desires. They keep on having desires which are unrealistic. Now they don't limit themselves how far they want. For them, sky is the limit. Of course, there is nothing wrong. But your desires must be feasible. Your desires must be within your reach. Now if you have a desire that, well, I want to touch the moon, is it possible? So people are having so many unrealistic, endless desires, and what happens? Most of them remain unfulfilled. So this non-fulfillment of desires lead them to sadness. So people are sad because of this, because they go on having so many desires which remain unfulfilled. This is one reason. The second reason of sadness is, the poet says that we keep on indulging ourselves in such activities which will ultimately bring death to us. Let's just take an example from the everyday life. Suppose that there is someone who is a chain smoker. Now he knows that smoking too much may cause the lung cancer. He may comes across an advertisement showing the repercussions of smoking. Now whenever he watches that particular program, advertisement, now at that moment he feels this sadness, because he knows that this chain smoking will one day bring him to death. But he can't leave it because it is a part of addiction. This is one of the examples. There are so many examples. So many examples. I still remember a seminar, rather it was on global warming. It was on the depletion of the ozone layer. And it is quite ironical that seminar was taking place in an air-conditioned room. There was a protest against plastic and people were using plastic bottles. Now these are the examples that we must restrict ourselves. We know the result of certain activities which will ultimately bring death to us. And we can't. There comes sadness. So the poet says that people are sad for these two reasons. And perhaps a huge silence. Now I'll come back to the first two lines. And for once could do nothing. For once stop doing anything. And what is the result? Perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness. Now this is again very, very important. That people are sad for different reasons. And suddenly, all of a sudden, there is a complete silence outside. Naturally, you would like to know why this silence is there. Then you will get to know that, well, this silence is for introspection. There comes the purpose of the poet. Now he wants all these people who are sad for different reasons, he wants them to start thinking, going for introspection. Just try to find out the ways. Can you stop these activities? Can you stop having all those unrealistic desires? Can you stop yourself from getting involved in activities which will ultimately bring death to you? So this is the message of the poet, that this huge silence will interrupt your sadness, will inspire you to go for introspection or meditation, and then you will come out with some positive ways. Now the poet says that we can learn a big lesson from the Mother Earth. That's why he says that perhaps the earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Let's try and understand these three lines. What does the poet actually want to say? Now, if you look at the earth, for 2 months during winters, the earth seems to be dead. Not many activities take place on the earth. And the earth appears to be dead, but the poet says that no, the earth never dies. It doesn't die. He uses that particular period for introspection. It meditates, it introspects all its activities for the past 10 months. And after 2 months of introspection, 2 months of analysis, it comes out with new energy, enthusiasm, new positivities with the coming up of spring. Now, if earth can bring about so many positivities in itself through introspection, the message is quite clear from the poet. Why can't we? So even we can come out with lots of positivities if we go for introspection. And finally the poet says that, now I will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. Now there is a contradiction in the first stanza and the last stanza. In the first stanza the poet says that we will count up to 12 and we will all keep still. Now he says that we will count up to 12 and you will keep still and I will go. Message is clear that the poet wants to make others aware about the same thing. So guys, this is all about the poem Keeping Quiet, and I hope you like this video, and if you like the video, please do like and subscribe, and if possible share this video with your friends and other teachers so that it can be of a good resource for you. So I'll be coming up with more videos on more lessons, and till then, goodbye and thank you so much.